it's Melody with Design by Melody. I'm here, first of all, back from a short break. And then second of all, with the April 2018 paper issue swag bag kit that I am kind of reviewing for April of 2018. So the very first thing I had done after I unboxed this was kind of got a feel for, I don't know, the different things in this kit, and I realized pretty quickly that there are a lot of very kind of random things, and that's because that's kind of the purpose of this swag bag. The purpose is to have a mixture of different things that are new to the shop. So it may be from a bunch of different collections that do not coordinate together. So I knew it was going to be a bit of a challenge to actually use this kit on multiple layouts, but I thought, hey, I am up for the challenge. Let's see what we can do. So I went through a couple of the different photos that I had already pulled out, and I went ahead and just picked a week that had some really, really random photos. So on the top left, I have a photo of some craft supplies. The top right, I have a picture of our new neighborhood. They were starting to build it. The middle picture, I just have some car selfies, and then the bottom left picture, I have a random kind of goofy picture of Kaylin, a very up close goofy picture of Kaylin. So I thought this was a pretty random week, so I could use some supplies that could appear to be somewhat random at first. So I'm just kind of going through. I picked out a couple different papers. I used a little bit of the packaging, the bag that the kit was packaged in, that black and white bag that you saw me cut up and put on that title card down there to the bottom right, and then I went through all of the papers and I pulled out a few to go ahead and use as my 4x6 cards, but then I also pulled out one that had these words on it that I went ahead and cut apart, and this top one says Adventure Awaits. No, not Ed Waits, but awaits. Adventure awaits. And I put that right there on that top photo because we just don't know exactly what's in our future with this house that we are going to be moving into, though we're already moved in, but at this time we weren't sure. And so I'm kind of documenting the process as we go. Now, because it's kind of just, empty land, I thought, hey, I put my little cactus up here that came as one of the die cuts in the kit. I thought it was kind of funny. So I put the little cactus up there, and I'm going to use a stamp here and just kind of stamp a little label so I could do a bit of journaling. Now, this stamp that I'm actually using is, let's see, it is actually Ellie Studio Label It stamp, and any supplies that are on here that I know exactly where they came from, I will link in the description box below. If you would like something similar to this swag bag, you will not get the exact same bag. Each bag could differ slightly. It just kind of depends on what kind of mixture of supplies you get from the things in the that are new to the shop for that month. But this is the particular mixture that I received, so you could probably guess that it would be somewhat similar if you purchased the April kit like I did. Though April is over now, so you will not get the same kit, but just kind of keep that in mind whenever you're purchasing these kits. If you see someone else unbox it, you are not going to get the exact same kit, but you will get a similar mixture of supplies. So just kind of keep that in mind. But I think that adds to the surprise. I think it adds to the excitement of getting this kit, because you just don't know exactly what you're going to get, and it's definitely a surprise when you do get it, and then you can use it as a challenge. So this first page that I'm doing is a Project Life. If you are not familiar with Project Life, it's pocketed pages, and I've always used the Design A Page Protector from Becky Higgins. I have my 4x6 photos as well as my 3x4 cards, and I always have my 4x6 photos be on, well, most of the time on white matted or mounted photos or cards, and then the 3x4 cards in the middle, I do still round the corners in those pockets. The 4x6 pockets are still squared corners. If you have not watched my videos in the past, this is very, very consistent to how I always scrapbook. It's just the way I like it's just kind of the way I like it. I like the way that it looks. I like that it's consistent from one page to another. It's not the same colors, not the same style. Not the same colors, not the same, not the same style. It depends on what supplies I'm using. But the overall design aspect stays the same with the rounded versus squared versus the white borders and so on and so forth. So I think that even though the kit has a lot of really random photos, sorry, not the kit, my album has a lot of really random photos, I still can get a very consistent feel across, regardless of what the photo is, regardless of what kit was used when I put the pages together, so on and so forth. So anyways, it's a little bit of background of me and my scrapbooking. I kind of flipped through the cards again. I do have some die cuts. I have one that says magical. I've got a little cross stitch thing. I have a couple different labels, a piece of cake, a button, a couple of puffy stickers. And so I've got some random things, as you can see. But I'm not discounting the papers that came in this swag bag. So there's a couple papers. Most of them are already cut down into 3x4 size, but there were a few that were 2x2 squares. So I'm just kind of keeping that in mind as I'm scrapbooking, because I can use those by cutting those papers apart, whether I need to stamp on them and cut them apart or just kind of go with the way it is or whatnot. I'm just kind of keeping that in mind, and I am okay with adapting things. I am not opposed to adapting things, so I'm really kind of just keeping that in mind and working with each card individually and just kind of going from there. Now there was that little like label that said crafting is always a good idea, and I thought that was super cute here. I put it with the little safety pin die cut that came in my kit. Then I am going to pull out my tiny attacher here and just do a couple staples in the corners of that crafting is always a good idea. A little frame there on that card and just make that a filler card. I also have this one that's a black and white text card that has a little like tote bag that says Heart Crafts, and I pulled out the little puffy check mark sticker and just kind of check mark that. And I am going to I've already started, you just haven't seen me. I've pulled a couple things out of my stash. I have my little scrap bin at the top of my desk there, and that's what those papers were that I pulled out to do the little scallop border on the left side of that bottom card, as well as the label on the top card by the cactus. So I pulled out a couple of my scraps and just kind of use those for those things, but I'm also pulling out a few word stickers from my stash. And my tiny attacher from my stash. So I've got a couple different things that I am using now. I was really trying hard to incorporate this roller stamp from Chamel, and it just is not working for me. I can't get it consistent enough to even really be able to tell what it is that it's stamping, but I did try, and I will try again. But in my scrap bin as well, I do have these chipboard stickers from Gossamer Blue, and so I am adding one here that just says Good Vibes, and it's going on that card with the white text. As you can see right now, I've got the left red card, then the card with the tote bag, then the card with the photos, and then the card with the little heart that I am just stapling down here. And I am going to rearrange this. The red card is going to come into spot number 3. The photos are going to go in spot number 2, and then the little tote bag that said Heart Crafts is going to go in spot number 1. And then the glittered red heart there, not red, glittered gold heart there to the right will stay in that 4th final spot on this row. So I do rearrange it before I finish, and you'll see that in the photos at the end of this video. But I just thought it was worth noting that even though you may kind of think it one way is the best, until you actually kind of see it complete in your album, it's still kind of up for interpretation or up for changes, you know, just in case. I never hold myself back from making changes if I want to. Now, funny enough, as I'm sitting here watching this, I just realized that my top left photo stays completely unembellished. But it's funny though, because what is on the photo is embellishments. So maybe I just didn't need to add any embellishments on top of the embellishments. But I do kind of find it funny. Gosh, I'm having a hard time talking. I find it kind of funny that there's a picture of embellishments that's unembellished. But kind of nearing the end of this layout, just a few other little bits and pieces that I will add. I have a word strip sticker that I'm going to add to that photo with the gold glittered heart. And then I'm just going to kind of look around, see if there's anything else that needs to be added. And that will actually complete this layout. It was fairly quick, not a whole lot that I added, and since the kit itself is very limited, it kind of gave me the opportunity to try to use a couple things from my stash, but it really didn't take me very long to put this layout together. Now again, if you are not familiar with my kit review series, make sure you go down and check in the description box. I will always have a link to my resource guide as well as the other videos related with this kit. Alright guys, thank you so much. Bye!